Hey everybody, and welcome to another entry in the Hyrule Compendium, and it is Sidequest week over at the site, so we thought we would go ahead and share our favorite side quests. So we're going to give you the 5.
All right, the first one I want to talk about is from Skyward Sword, Colin's Love Letter.
Okay.
Colin is he's sort of like one of the stooges for Groose, and he's in love with Karain, one of the girls from the Knight Academy. And it's like, typical Zelda fashion, too shy to tell her. So he writes a love letter and asks Link to deliver it for him.
But a lot of letter writing in Zelda, too.
While this is happening, this takes place right outside the bathroom. And you can hear the groaning coming from the bathroom. And Colin's like, how dare you even think about using this love letter as toilet paper? So then Link has multiple options here. He could give the love letter to Karain, Colin's, love interest. Karain kind of laughs at Colin. I wouldn't really pursue a relationship with him. But Karain is in love with Pippet, one of the other students at the Knight Academy. If Link talks to Pippet, this gives Pippet the encouragement to go to talk to Karain and profess his love for her. All while Colin is right there. And Colin gets all sad and depressed. And for the rest of the game, he can be found, I think, in his room or Groose's room, just crying for the rest of the game. The alternative is Link could give the love letter to the hand. Later on, at nighttime, you can see Colin sleeping, and you see the ghost. It's just the hand stroking Colin. And it says, thank you. Because of you, I found the true love of my life.
Oh my gosh.
And she thanks you. And now Colin is having these night terrors now. He's being tormented in his sleep. It's hard to feel sorry for him because of his character arc from the beginning of the game.
But dang, that's some harsh punishment.
It's cool that there's 2 separate outcomes to this cool side quest.
There's not a lot of Zelda quests that's a thing.
There's been more in some of the more recent games.
Yeah.
But yeah, not very many of them.
So the first one I'm going to talk about is a more recent one. I'm going to talk about Terrytown from Breath of the Wild, which is actually called From the Ground Up. Well, what's fun about this quest actually is it, first of all, spawns from completing another quest. So you go to Hateno and you meet the construction team, Bolson. One of them, Hudson. He says, okay, well, I got to go do a new job up in the Akala region. And so he heads out while the other guys stick around. He's starting this new town, Terrytown. Throughout the quest, you help him build up the town. First you find him just wood he needs to build some houses. But then he starts asking, he needs specific people to help him do jobs there. So you find a Goron, and he needs a Goron to move rocks, and they're all pretty happy to pick up and move and start a new life. It's a little inspirational, right?
Yeah.
Because of the Bolson Construction Company regulation and guidelines, their last names have to end in, or their names have to end in SON. Mm-hmm. So I can't even remember their names now. There's Grayson is one, and Fison, but it's a little goofy gimmick that doesn't make any sense, but it's cute. While you're doing this and you're getting more wood, every time you go back to Terrytown, the town expands a little bit, and the people you've added have opened up a shop, or there's new residents there and new side quests you can do. Every time a new resident comes, the song of the town changes, so it adds a unique instrument from the region they're from. Which is, you really feel it every time you go back. By the time you have built up this town, it turns out that one of the residents you found, who's a Gerudo, is engaged with Hudson. And the last person you have to find is this Zora who can officiate their wedding.
The priest, yeah.
So you get him, and they have a wedding ceremony. And what's great about that is the music that plays there is the theme song, but now there's a church organ playing on top. And there's even a little part of the vows is, do you vow in cooperation with Bolson Construction Company regulation to name your child something son? And it's all of them are yeah, regulations. It's one that's really fun because it's satisfying to watch the town grow.
Yeah, because that is completely barren area before, and it's like in the middle of nowhere. Nobody goes to Akala.
I guess there's a lot to it. Like in between each one of those things, you also have to like gather more wood.
Yeah, there are like hundreds of wood you need. Yeah,
That's not that
It's a little
fun,
overwhelming,
but
but-
just to watch the town grow, it's cute.
Yeah.
It's nice.
yeah. All right, the next one I have on my list is from The Wind Waker, and it's
Okay.
Mo the Moblin. Although this one has like so many like, it's sort of like Terrytown where it has other like intricacies to it, I guess. There's the two girls that live in on Windfall, and it's Mila and Maggie. Maggie is the poor girl. She's like, her family's poor. Her dad is the one that runs up to you and starts talking to you, like on Windfall Island. And you never want to talk to him. I think everybody knows the guy I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And Mila is her dad. Lives upstairs in the auction house, and it's like, if you touch anything, you got to pay for it.
Yeah, the rich guy. Yeah.
Yeah, both of the daughters got captured. What ends up happening, it's like a role reversal here,
Yes.
because Mila's dad spends every rupee that he has to pay off Tetra and the pirates to go and save her daughter, and she goes from being the richest person to having no money at all. And eventually, what happens after you save the girls? They come back, they get, like, I guess, evicted out of their home, and they're living on the streets of Windfall. Her and her father's arc afterwards, they become more happy and more like humble a little bit, where they're like, maybe we don't need money to be happy in this world. Maggie, she fell in love with a moblin while she was captured. His name's Mo, and Mo was giving her skull necklaces. When they get back to Windfall, now she has all these skull necklaces that she gives to her dad, and her dad sells them, and they become filthy rich. So now they take over the auction house, the upstairs, and now they're all rich and everything. But the moral of the story is Maggie's not happy, even though she's rich now,
Yeah.
because she misses Mo. So she writes a letter to him, and eventually Mo replies with a letter, and the postman tries to deliver it, but then his dad kicks him out. You eventually find the postman, you get the letter, and you finally deliver it to Maggie, and it's like in broken English, and it's like, I really like you, I want to eat you for dinner. Maggie thinks, oh my god, it's a wedding proposal. Maggie says, I'm gonna go off and find Mo and get married and live happily ever. It doesn't actually happen in the game, because it's just like, that's what she's gonna do
Can
next.
only presume.
Yeah.
It would be hard not to talk about side quests and not talk about getting Epona and Ocarina of Time.
This one seems so weird to me, because I feel for the longest time like Epona does not feel like a side quest. It feels like it's mandatory,
Right.
but it's not.
Maybe why is because it's partially ingrained into the game when you're first playing, because
Right in the center of the field, you're gonna see it. You're gonna go there.
you're gonna probably go there maybe before going to the market
Right.
for the first time. When you do go to the market, you meet young Malon and Talon. They're there, and that's part of the main story there. And they tell you about the ranch, so even if you went there before, you're like, oh, I'll probably go check that out. You go there as a kid, and we all know, you learn Epona's song. 7 years and many hours into the game later, you go there and you discover Ingo, right? Who's the disgruntled ranch hand. Luigi. He has gone mad, and he has taken over the ranch. He's got all these horses, and you can ride them, but of course you can play Epona's song and ride Epona. Eventually he's like, okay, you want to race?
You first have to race him, and then if you beat him a second time, then he says you can keep the horse.
And he's like, all right, you can keep the horse, but you're not leaving
You're
this
never
ranch.
leaving the ranch again.
All you got to do then is, it might be hard to figure out the first time, but
I didn't know you can jump over the side of the ranch.
yeah,
I tried jumping over the front gate, and it's a little more precise, and it's a little harder.
it's a little tricky. You do it, and there's this awesome cutscene. I guess another reason that it makes me think like it's not a side quest is you start that game up, and what's the title screen
You're
of
riding
Ocarina
the
of
horse.
Time?
Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of people who played it at the time have fond memories of riding Epona throughout the overworld. Even though looking back, there's not much going on.
Right.
But another reason why it feels like a big deal is I can't think of a game before that had like horseback in it. Like, I can think of, I'm sure there were like horse racing games probably.
Yeah, or maybe some 8-bit things or something where you're riding a horse. I don't know.
But this is like what I think is like the first, Epona is like the first video game horse in a way, you know, proper. So it's huge, not just as a side quest, but as a game mechanic.
Yeah. Probably if you ask 1,000 people what their favorite Zelda side quest is, I think over half of them might say it's the Anju and Cafe quest from Majora's Mask.
It's sort of a glorified trading sequence.
Yeah, it is.
With a mini dungeon at the end. Mm-hmm. So they kind of took that idea and just blew it out into a big story. One of the first things you can ever see in this game is Kafai going out and sending that letter right there in South Clock Town.
Yeah, and then runs back home.
And you're like, who is that? And you can like chase him, but you can't interact with him, and he's got a mask on. I love like that little tease there.
Yeah.
Like that could be one of the first things you ever see. He sends that letter. It goes to Anju. And if you have the Kafai mask from his mom who's looking for it, you wear it to her, and she's like, okay, you're looking for him. Meet me in the kitchen at 11:30 or whatever time. She tells you she got that letter from him, and she wants you to send a letter back. I don't know why she can't send it, but you gotta. Of course. You send the letter for her, then it gets delivered.
Doesn't the postman ring the bell? Or
he rings the bell. He gets the letter, and then he's like, okay, let the trust Link or whoever you are. He tells you a story about how he was turned into a child by Skull Kid. Connects into the main story, like almost everything does in that game. The real reason he hasn't shown himself actually is because the thief Sakon stole his wedding gift, and so he gives you a pendant to give to Anju. She's like, okay, I'll wait for him. But then Sakon, he goes to the curiosity shop and tries to make a deal, and there's a little peephole in Kafai's house, and he decides, I'm gonna go after him. Then you go, and there's this little mini dungeon or whatever.
You get to play as Cafe
You get to play as another character, which you almost never do in a Zelda game, other than like the masks or something. It's fun. It's not like that complicated of a...
There's a couple puzzles.
It's a little stressful your first time, or maybe as a kid.
It's easy to fail.
Yeah.
Too. And it's kind of frustrating if you fail, because you got to do the whole quest over. But
which is annoying because you already have to do the quest.
Yeah.
Multiple times. But anyway, you get the mask.
Sun mask there, right?
Sun mask. It's a touching little scene because you go back and they're in the stock pot inn. Yeah. That's what it is, and they're like, we're gonna wait it out together.
In the scene where Anju sees, I think when they get reunited, and Anju sees that Cafe is a child, and like she falls to her knees. And then they hug. It's
heartwarming a little bit. It's very strange, but obviously heartwarming. And you know, the fact that they're just like, well, we'll wait here and hopefully we don't die. You know, it's like kind of dark, but it's a really touching. That's what makes it a great side quest, I think, is that you get such a, like, there's all these little like deep elements to it that tell like a fulfilling story throughout it.
I think it's because it involves so many characters and involves so many like subplots within the game.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's like you get all sorts of rewards.
Well, yeah. So, I mean, it's a game about collecting masks, and you get how many masks just doing
5 of them, maybe, I think.
Yeah. And then, you know, some of the characters you interacted with, like, connect to other side quests that have masks. Like, Majora's Mask is just side quest the game in a way.
Right.
And you can make, like, you could probably make, like, a, you know, the police, like, yarn arrows, like, connecting the spider web of all the characters, you know. And it's hard, even just on the fringes, to not imagine a character like that this quest doesn't even connect with by some degree of separation.
Yeah. One of my favorite scenes in Majora's Mask is when you pretend to be the Goron and get the room key.
Right.
Like, that's associated with this quest.
It's not something you have to do,
right?
But
there's a lot of those things that are part of this quest.
Yeah, so it's hard. It's harder for us to go through this one and be like, this happened, this happened, this happens, because there's all these little. You can read Kafai's journal and get some information there. If you do the Goron thing, you can listen in through the wall and hear the conversation with the mother and Anju. So it's, or like if you talk to the grandma, you know, while Anju's there, it's so deep. It's so, for a game of that time too.
Right. And this is also one of the quests that has 2 different arcs, because it ends 2 totally different. You have to play it twice in order to get everything.
Yeah.
Because one of the quests, when you get the letter, I don't remember the exact details, but you got to give it to the postman. And then the postman has the dilemma where he doesn't want to leave town because he has to deliver mail, which is kind of ridiculous. But then you get the postman's hat at the at the conclusion of one end of the spectrum. But it's it sort of has the same end story where it's like he is so passionate about his job that he's staying here until the end of days.
Yeah, exactly. Hard not to talk about side quests and not mention that one. It's we could do a whole series on that side quest. I'm sure.
It's probably my favorite, next to the Dorian Katla, Coco and Katla side quest.
Coco, everyone loves Coco and Katla from Breath of the Wild. Leave us a comment if you
some
even
deep
know.
Story there. There's some deep story.
Mas has been looking into it, doing some research for upcoming videos someday. Let us know what some of your favorite side quests are. There are a ton that we just didn't mention.
There's all the collectibles, the training sequences, and there's a lot from Majora's Mask.
Yeah, we had to limit it from Majora's Mask because it's just too powerful.
Yeah, and there's some of my favorite quests in Majora's Mask that are not side quests too. Like Pamela and Pamela's dad with the Song of Healing and the mummy, and she stores him in the basement. Like, that's one of my favorite parts of Majora's Mask, but that's actually a main quest.
Feels like, I could see how almost everything in that sort of feels like a side. Because it's literally everyone is affected by Skull Kid.
Yeah.
So the side quest, it's someone who's got beef with Skull Kid. Main quest, someone's got beef with Skull Kid.
Yeah.
What a jerk.
Yeah.
That's not his fault, so.
There's Malamar, that's a good one. A lot of good side quests.
Yeah.
There can only be 5 on the definitive favorite list.
Definitive. So, thanks for watching. Give us a like if you enjoyed it. Subscribe. Come join our Discord. And thanks for watching.